Hey guys, so I'm gonna be doing homework number 2, question 16.9. So I wrote out the problem. It says, the figure below shows the wavefronts of a circular wave. What is the phase difference between points A and B, points C and D, points E and F? So I drew out the question. And so basically, in order to find the phase difference of a circular wave, it can be calculated by the difference between two successful crests and troughs. If the crests are the same, then there's no phase difference between the waves. So the crests in these cases would be these points, and then these would be the troughs. So I translated the circle into a graph form just because it's easier for me to see. So in this case, what I did was I made a graph and I labeled the crests and the troughs. So I did C as pi over 2, E as 3 pi over 2, 5 pi over 2 would be A, F, and B because they're all in the same wavefront, and then D is 9 pi over 2. So in order to do A, to find points A and B, what we'd have to do is take 5 pi over 2, subtract it by 5 pi over 2, because that's the crests where they're both found. And because they're both found on the same crest, their phase difference is going to be 0. So then for part B, to find points C and D, we look at the graph again. So C is pi over 2 and D is 9 pi over 2. So we'd write out 9 pi over 2 minus pi over 2. And that's going to give us 4 pi. Another way to look at this, if you want to look at the circle, we see that A and B are on the same wavefront, so their phase difference is going to be 0. And over here, C and D are the phase difference is 4 pi, because from C and F it's 2 pi, and from F to D it's also 2 pi. But I think the graph makes it a little bit more clear in my opinion. So for C, we're finding points E and F. So E, F, so over here, E is found at 3 pi over 2, and F is at 5 pi over 2. So we do 5 pi over 2 subtracted by 3 pi over 2, and you're going to get pi. So over here we see that E is on the trough and F is on the crest, and you could see that in the circle too, because F is on the same plane as A and B, and E is in the middle of the two wavefronts. Yeah, so the answer here would be points A and B phase difference is 0, points C and D 4 pi, and points E and F pi. So for me, it was easier to see the circular graph and translate it into an actual graph. But you could also look at the circle and determine the phase differences from there. Okay, thank you.